Hey guys, thanks for watching Canadian Cutting Edge, and today we're taking a look at the FH51 by Ganzo. This is one of the newest knives with D2 steel. It's a little bit on the smaller side, discreet kind of knife. I've got big hands between large and extra large right on that border scale for North American sizes, and it just fits me. Any bigger and, it'd be fitting. If it was any smaller, I wouldn't really like it, but it's actually fitting my hand fairly well. And it's got a forward choil. Before I get into this review, I forgot to talk or add this knife to the sale. This is the Y-Start VG10 LK5014, I think it is. It's the one with the soccer theme on it from FIFA World Cup 2018 that France won, and the FIFA World Cup 2018 was held in Russia. So if you have any fans of FIFA or fans who like Russia, or fans who like Y-Start knives, and they're the knives that have been tested for Y-Start that are, VG10 and higher end are what they say they are. It's just been some D2 steel that they've had that isn't really D2. So chances are fairly good that this is VG10. And the retail price on this is around $75 US. I'm selling it for $50, 50, and that's including regular basic shipping to North America. If you want tracking and stuff, then we'll negotiate how much that's going to cost you. But if you're in North America and you want to buy this, $50 US, and I'll get it to you. If you're somewhere else in the world, we'll just have to add some more shipping to it, depending on how much it's going to cost. I've been sending some stuff way over to Bosnia, and it's only like about 50% more than it is to, the United States. So, if a package to the United States is $15, then this would be like $21 to Bosnia. So it's just a rough number. So it's not that awful much to send around. Even to Australia, it's not stupid crazy, but, well, it is. But, it can be done. So if anybody's interested in this knife, watch the video for it. And this is a good knife, titanium VG10 frame lock. And it's got that custom kind of thing going on, and it's got one little silly thing here as well. So watch the video and decide if you want to buy this or not. Let's get back to this now. We've got G10 on this Ganzo Firebird FH51 with a really nice drop point. So it's got a nice fine tip here. And let's put this thing on the tabletop so we can take a good close look at it. Now, just before I get to the tabletop, I am using a standby camera that I don't normally use. My camera that I use for doing videos, I lost it in Atlanta. It was found. It's been shipped to me, and I've been waiting to do reviews until it gets here, but it just didn't get here yet. So I got to make some videos in the meantime. So if there's some jumping around on the video, I'm aware of that. It's just the way this camera works, and I can't get it to do any better, but we will have a better camera for future. I'm not sure how many videos I have to record with this current camera, but the fewer the better for all of us. Okay, so just before we take a look at this, I just want to remind you of how this knife looks, just because you guys, might not want to take the time to look back at the video. So you got that sort of look on the side here of these five-sided shape. And, this drop point, this funny kind of fuller here, that looks kind of cool. And the jimping up here. And, frame lock, it's actually a very nice knife. And hopefully somebody who's a fan of soccer somewhere will really like this knife. This knife is pretty much the same kind of color. We've got that blue kind of gray-ish color on here. This surface here is quite gray, so you can see that bluish is quite a bit different than this gray. And what we have is a drop point blade here with a swedge on the top here. A little bit of a dip in here for a good thumb rest area. Some jimping on there, coarse jimping, and it feels very, very well in hand. You get a good grip on it this way. A reverse grip, or sorry, this is the real kind of reverse grip, but even a reverse grip like this, or you can do a real full reverse where you're doing a pull kind of cut. And that works okay as well. It's a fairly small handle. It'll fit people with men with medium-sized hands, men with small hands, women with medium and small hands. My wife says this is very comfortable. Like I said in the intro, I've got between large and extra large, and I'm finding it quite comfortable as well. A little bit on the smaller side. So if you like big knives, if you got big hands, you like big knives, this one's not really for you. but Ganzo's got other knives as well. This forward choil here is done quite well. I've not poked myself with this edge here at all. And every time I've cut myself, it's because I was doing something stupid, not when I was just, testing out a knife and checking it out and stuff. We've got nested liners, and so the liner lock release, it sticks out just a little bit there. Very easy to access to use that release. We've got ball bearings in here. We've got G10 backspacer with a recessed notch on the handle scales so that we've got a recessed spot for a lanyard. I don't like it when lanyard has to be bulked out on the sides of the handle, so that's really nice. I like how they did that. There is some skeletonizing in there. I'll give you some pictures of inside of the knife. Actually, let's do that right now. This side has, no skeletonizing. This side's just got a few little holes in it, 4 little holes. And it's a fairly light knife. We've got torque screws here, T8 and T6 here, I believe. A little bit of jimping on the front of the flipper tab. Whoop, I was scratching it on the table there. And it flips very, very easily. You don't have to put much pressure on it at all. Pretty much straight down and it flips out, or light switch method where you're pulling back and it flips very well. The detent is quite good. And it's just enough detent that it holds it when you want it to. Can you shake it loose? Not easily, but you could if you got a full big swing on it. And what I mean is when you're just holding onto the handle scales and you move it and you stop abruptly and then inertia makes the blade come out. That can be done with this knife. Not super easily, but it can be done. And the shape of the knife, I like that we've got, the shape of the handle, I like that it's swept back here to fit in the palm of the hand like that. I like this little bit of a rise right here. So you get 3 fingers in and then your pinky gets up over here. Or if you go forward, same kind of thing, and get a good grip on this knife. I really, really like this thing. The FH51 is a comfortable, smaller knife, but it's not under 3 inches for the blade. Some of you guys are saying, Jake, let's do the sizes already. Okay, the specs. D2 steel, like I said, that's got a Rockwell 5960-ish, roughly. And G10 handle scales, stainless steel liners, a stainless steel pocket clip, ball bearings, stainless steel hardware in there. The weight of this knife is 79 grams. Actually, let's pull this thing out here to remind. And the weight of this knife is 79 grams, which is 2.8 ounces. Yeah, less than 3 ounces for this thing. Oh, I didn't do the factory sharpness number on there. I'll put it on the screen. I think it was 150, but I didn't write it on my sheet there, which is quite good. 200 is considered sharp by the factory that makes the mechanism that I use to measure the factory sharpness, or the sharpness. I just measure the factory sharpness. And so 200 sharp, this thing is better than that, so that's good. Now let's do the sizes. The cutting edge, 7.27 centimeters, 2.86 inches. Blade length, so tip to the closest spot on the handle, 8.26 centimeters, which is 3¼ inches. The blade thickness back here is 3.27 millimeters, which is 0.1285 inches. The blade depth is biggest right there. And so I measured it there, 2.2 centimeters, 0.87 of an inch. The thickness of the edge behind the grind, and I usually measure it an inch up from the sharpener's choil or the handle, whichever one it has, if it doesn't have a sharpener's choil. That is 0.38 millimeters, which is 15 thousandths of an inch. I was just listening to Walter Sorrells. He's a knife maker who does videos teaching people how to do knives. And he says on his custom knives, his target is 15 thousandths of an inch. So with D2, that's as thin as I would go. I wouldn't want to go any thinner because D2 is a little more brittle than some steels. D2 is not a stainless steel, even though it has high chromium, but it resists corrosion okay, but not super well. You do have to take precautions you always have to take precautions against corrosion with even stainless steel, but this is not a stainless steel. But It's about as close as you can get to stainless without being stainless. Let's keep going. Grind angle. The factory grind angle on this knife, 21 degrees on this side, 27.7 degrees on this side. So yeah, like I say, it's a perennial thing. They sharpen their knives by hand, and people are right or left-handed, and so they always hold the knife at a different angle. It's just the nature of the beast. When I sharpen it, I'll sharpen it to 20 degrees per side, and it will be beautiful. Now, the handle length is 10.49 centimeters, which is 4.13 inches. The grip area between my thumbs is about 9 centimeters, about 3.5 inches. The handle thickness is 1.24 centimeters, which is 0.489 inches, just under half an inch thick. The handle depth, it's actually biggest right there by this little bulge, 2.2 centimeters, that's 0.87 of an inch. And the blade depth, or the knife depth when it's closed, it's largest right there, 2.82 centimeters, 1.11 inches. And the total length of this knife is 18.75 centimeters, which is, I didn't mark down what the inches is. I didn't convert it to inches. So let's do it to inches right here. 7 3/8, roughly. So that's a good knife. I like it. It looks good. It feels good. It's comfortable. It's very light. It's discreet. It's almost a gentleman's knife. If you take the pocket clip off, you might want to call this a gentleman's knife. And that's one of my cons for this knife is the pocket clip is too big. It doesn't fit with the rest of the knife. I like the style of pocket clip. I like the placement of the pocket clip. It leaves about a centimeter, about 3/8 of an inch of the knife sticking out of your pocket, but it's a little too big. It comes out too far this way. I wish it was a little more shallow this way. And just generally, just a little bit smaller. It's a standard pocket clip that they took out of their Ganzo toolkits and they slapped it on here. And I really wish they would have come up with something a little bit smaller to put on here. That would suit it a whole lot better. How does it look on a pair of pants? Well, let's show you. Here we go. It goes on very well, slides on, and just has that little bit sticking out. Not bad at all. I quite like it. So discreet, looks good. Jimping makes it comfortable in hand. Good grip on the thumb. Nice point on the tip here for delicate work. Nice long, straight, full flat grind. As a slicer, works wonderfully. Take this with you in, if you want to cut up an apple or something, it can do that kind of job super easily. As a glove box knife, it can do those kind of EDC tasks that are going to come up with, or emergency tasks. It can do a lot of those quite well. Is this, the be-all and end-all kind of knife? Of course not. It's a small EDC. It's in the EDC category, but on the small end, and it suits that very well. If that's what you're looking for, I really recommend this one quite highly. It's got a good stop pin. Lockup is solid, no blade play, up and down, side to side. Lockup is exactly when you want it to be, right there. Lots of life left in there. Blade alignment when it's closed is perfect. Easy to flip. Lock it. It's great. The lanyard hole here, as I talked about, is very good. I might like it shifted back just a little bit. Yeah, it's not a big deal at all. The only con that I have for it is a cosmetic one, and that's the pocket clip. Slightly smaller pocket clip would have been good. And the other con about the pocket clip is I wish they would have done right and left instead of just right. So we've got a tip up pocket clip, and there you go. That's the video. Remember, I'm going to be gone July and the first week, maybe first 2 weeks of August. My wife has to be back at work on August 9th, so do I then. And so we'll be coming back in the first week of August from Ontario, visiting family and having a good time and, a bittersweet time as well. I'm not covering that again now. So there you go. There's your Ganzo Firebird logo. I like that the writing on the knife isn't super dark, but I'd like it even more discreet than that, but that's not bad at all. And this is a good knife. For $23.75, I think Power Cutlery charges a little bit of shipping, like $3 or something. And that is if you're buying less than a certain amount. I think I'm talking off the top of my head. But they're a good place to shop. Easy to deal with those guys at Power Cutlery. It's a small knife company, or knife store. And if you haven't shopped at Power Cutlery, they've got a lot of different especially Chinese brands of knives that I really like. And some, the really budget stuff like Ganzo, and a little more higher end stuff as well. Like the Civivi stuff. That's not high end yet, but it's higher than Ganzo. Is what I'm trying to say. Best Tech, stuff like that. And some other brands. Maybe I'll put some on the screen here. So remember to use CCE lowercase when you check out. You get 5% off. And that way they also can tell if it's been good for them to make a deal with me to get some knives at a good price. I did buy this. I believe I bought this, but I think I got a significant discount, if I remember correctly, from Power Cutlery. So thanks everybody for liking my channel. Thanks for all the help you guys have been doing. My knife sale's gone fairly well. I sold a little over half of the knives. That knife sale's going on to the end of Sunday. So if you'd like to get something else that's there, check it out. And remember, guys, always cut towards your chum, not your thumb.